Yeah, I mean, look, there's obviously a lot of talk around SVOD and how SVOD is taking over the world. But the reality of it is, consumers have two things that are limited: how much money they can spend and how much time that they have, right? And those are the two limiting factors into how much television programming they pay for and how much they consume. And at the end of the day, what we're seeing is consumers are building portfolios of viewing content, right? And that portfolio has things that they'll pay for at a premium at the top, things that they'll pay some level for, and some things that they will pay a small amount for. And those amounts are usually totally inverse to the amount of time that they'll spend with them as well, right? Because that's a limited factor. So things that they'll spend a lot of times with, they see a lot of value with, they'll pay for. And then things that they'll spend some amount of time with, so that have some interesting programming on it that they may want to pop into every now and then, they'll pay some level for. And then there are the fully, things in the bottom of the portfolio where let's say, are fully ad supported, in which, hey, maybe once or twice a week I'll catch up on something in these areas. But in my value exchange for that is based on advertising. So I think there's a place for all of these types of programming. I think, interestingly enough, although a lot of the talk is about SVOD, where we see a lot of the action and activity is on AVOD, because AVOD is really new to the scene. Netflix has been around for a while, but when you look at players like Pluto TV or Tubi TV or Fubo, these are folks that are relatively new to the space, that are fully ad supported, and that are making a real dent in that portfolio viewing, right? They're starting to take that piece of a user's time in a real way. So, at Telaria, we think we have a pretty unique, value proposition to our partners, as well as to the ecosystem as a whole. To our partners, it's not just our leadership in technology and our focus on video, and in particular connected TV, and some of the things that we've built around connected TV, whether it's advanced ad podding, which involves, creative separation and frequency management and creative quality control, things like that, which make a big deal when you're in someone's living room. It's also some of the business model aspects of where we sit, whether the flexibility that we have around SaaS type models, to the idea that we're an independent company. And I think that's a big deal when we start talking about walled gardens, and the fact that we don't have a buy side that competes with our sell side technology. When you are a partner of Telaria's, we have one interest and one interest only, and that's to optimize your revenue. And we share in that upside, but at the end of the day, we're not also taking that money and building competitive content against you. So if you think about how the walled gardens are being built, they are buy side and sell side. They are sellers of content, but also producers of content. So if you're an independent company, either an agency that's buying media or a publisher that's selling media, you have to start questioning whether or not the walled gardens have your best interest in mind. If you're a buyer, they're going to bias all their own content, right? That's what they're going to do. I own Warner Brothers content. I own Turner content. I'm going to bias that in my sale to you, so I'm not going to be independent. Or if you're a seller, it's the same equation, which is the technology that I'm using from within this garden, is it really optimizing my yield versus their own content's yield versus their own bottom line? And I think that's an interesting question that everyone needs to ask, and why I think that the walled gardens will be increasingly insular with regard to who they serve, and who they'll really serve is really their own properties at some point.